Right. It's great.
Hello, hi! How are you guys? So, this is Natasha Denona. Without any makeup on, you are the only ones that made me do that. It's crazy because I am going to demo on myself for you guys today, and I'm so excited to be live here with you. Of course, on Sephora TV, and this is actually a crazy masterclass because this is the first time ever that 5 different countries are broadcasting simultaneously. And yeah, so I wanted to thank, first of all, Sephora for this crazy event that is super exciting. And I wanted to tell you also the countries that are joining us, which are France, bonjour or bonsoir, because it's already so late. And Germany, Deutschland, hallo Deutschland, wie geht es euch? Ich vermisse Deutschland so viel. I feel actually a little bit like Eurovision because it's so. And then we have also Italy, Italia, ciao. I was there last week and I'm missing it again. And Spain, hola. And Romania, salut. So I'm super happy that all of you are joining me today. I'm going to demo on myself a look using the new Zendo eyeshadow palette. I'm also going to introduce you, of course, the new Puff Paint Liquid Blush Serum. And this whole masterclass is going to be quite interactive because I will demo, but at the same time you can ask me questions. So if you want to ask me anything, just write down in the chat, and I'm going to have here Emily with me, and she's going to help me to read the questions, and I will answer you. And I will answer you. I will try to answer all of them, but you know, there are going to be so many, so I will try to do my best. Yeah, so let's start. Well, I'm gonna show you, first of all, the first product that I am going to use. This is the Magic Primer. I like to use this because it's completely absorbing my sebum because I have mixed skin, which means that I have dry skin on the cheeks, but in the summer it's a little bit more, I'm a little bit more sweating because of my T-zone. It is more oily, and so I'm spreading this kind of all over my face. And in the winter I like then to use the lifting primer because this is just less mattifying, but this Magic Primer right now that I'm using is completely absorbing the oil excess of the sebum, and for a pretty long time during the day. And the smell of it is so good. It's not just a regular primer, it is like a skincare primer. So it really takes care about your skin as well. So you can use it also even under your eyes, and it's very much penetrating the skin, so it's healthy as well. Okay, so next I'm gonna use my foundation X Plus. I am usually number 40N, and maybe I'm gonna mix it also with 22R. Now, this foundation comes in 36 shades. I'm mixing it. You should mix it before because it has a lot of water inside, and the pigment itself sometimes separates, and then you have to mix it well so everything will be smooth by application. Now, it comes in different undertones. That's why the numbers are coming with N, R, W, and Y. N stands for neutral. I love neutral undertones for red skin tones more because I feel like red and neutral as well. So R and N are great for red undertones because sometimes I'm red, for example, but if I would use a pure red pigmented foundation, I would see like a pink tone coming out that is a little bit artificial. That's why I like to neutralize it. So most of the red undertones in my foundations are slightly neutralized. Okay, so I'm using this, the 40N. It might be a little bit too dark for me, so maybe I'll mix it with the 22. So let's see. Got a little bit of color now. And And I'm gonna spread this like this. I love this foundation so crazy much because it gives almost a full coverage, but it still looks completely like skin and gives a very natural glow to the skin. And it's also very, very healthy. It has, yeah?
We have a question from Germany.
Sure.
Stephen from Germany is asking,
Stephen or Stefan?
what is your favorite campaign photo shoot you ever did for your brand?
Oh my god! Well, each time I'm shooting a campaign, I mean, Emily, you can tell, we're always like, we're loving, it's the best one we did ever each time, okay? But I must tell you that there is something very, you know, like close to me. That's the Sunset eyeshadow palette campaign. That was one of the first campaigns that I really kind of, I was like, oh my god, I was like in euphoria after the shoot. And I showed to my team afterwards when I came to the school. I went to teach the same day in the evening. I was so dead. And I had to show it to my team in the school, and they were like, oh my god, that's so beautiful. So this is like iconic for me. Yeah, but I love the Zendo shoot very much, right? Like the artistic modern touch for new kind of eye makeup look and the color combination. I love it very much. And there's also this inspo, like the Far East inspo, the look and feel of it. So I love this, you know, like how can I say, minimalism of all these countries there. It's, I don't know, I love this style, which is very, very minimalistic. So it kind of speaks to me as well. Okay, so I'm kind of spreading this foundation. I didn't use too much. I want to use a little bit more. You know, for every day, I like a very natural coverage. And when I'm making up like a real full glam of an eye makeup look, I like a better coverage for the skin. It kind of goes together in my opinion. But I don't like to look cakey. So that's why I can really be sure and confident with this formulation that it won't be heavy looking. And I think that the shade is fine, so I won't mix it. I'm sorry if I'm gonna do like really weird faces right now while you're playing foundation.
I have another good question for you.
Yeah.
Alina from Romania is asking, would you recommend mixing the Face Glow foundation with a few drops of the Lifting Primer Anti-Aging Serum, or for a glowy base and a long-lasting makeup effect? Would you recommend
Okay,
mixing?
so first of all, me personally, I don't like to mix primers with foundation because these are separate formulations that go so well together, layered one on top of the other. But I can tell you something about this Face Glow foundation that is the best, like enzyme. Do you say enzyme? Enzyme. It's like the best addition to any foundation you will choose to wear, and you can mix it with everything that is foundation. It will always give you this beautiful, soft and natural look and a slight glow. So you can take the heaviest foundation or the most natural foundation and add the Face Glow foundation to it. It will always come amazing. It's like a magic drop of something, and it's amazing. So with primer, if you do that, it's not a mistake. If you like that and it works for you, you can do that. But me personally, as a makeup artist, I like long wearing formulas, especially when they're very natural. Then I like to layer instead of mixing them. Okay, so I'm kind of done with my foundation. This is enough for me.
Quick foundation question from
Yeah.
Spain.
Yeah.
They're asking, which skin type is this foundation for? Oily or dry?
Foundation X Plus is created for every skin type. The secret is that, first of all, it is for everyone because it is matte, it is oil absorbing. At the same time, it gives this natural glow finish. But if your skin is super dry or very dehydrated, then you should balance out your hydration with a primer underneath. For example, with the Face Glow Primer, you can achieve this beautiful, fresh looking, healthy looking skin, and then you can cover it with a Foundation X Plus. And if you have oilier skin, you can balance your skin with the Magic Primer that is mattifying. This foundation always works on everybody. And if you don't like a little glow, you can just add a slightly bit of powder. Even though this foundation is mattifying, kind of controlling the sebum, as I said, and mattifying itself, it doesn't really become greasy at all. So it is really good for everybody that wants a little bit more of coverage and not looking completely matte. It's also beautiful on mature skin as well. Okay, so I like to put this foundation also a little underneath my eyes. And now I'm gonna go into the Tan Cheek palette, the Bronze and Glow palette. This is the second face palette that I launched in this format of the 4 pans. And in here we have a blush and bronzing shade that I'm gonna use as a bronzer. Picking up a blush brush, or you can also take a larger bronzing brush, and then using this slightly bit underneath my cheekbones and on the sides of my forehead, like right above the temples, because I have a pretty large forehead. And if you have a large forehead, you can just add some contour on the sides of your forehead and also even on top. And if you have a smaller forehead, you don't have to put any contour on your forehead. Okay, and then this side. And I'm really going from above the ear towards the, my lips, but I'm stopping like halfway. Okay, and then when you're my age, then you can also slightly define your jawline and the double chin. You can kind of create a shadow underneath your jawline. But if you love your double chin, you can just leave it as is. I don't know anybody like that, but just saying. Okay, and then there are these little drooped areas of the jawline when sometimes it's happening, after a while, above 40, and then you can kind of lift it up with a movement that is kind of in an angle upwards, and it will give like illusion that it's more lifted. Okay. And then blending this down. Okay. I'm gonna do the glow after the eyes. And I'm gonna start with the eyes. And as an eyeshadow base, I love to use my eyeshadow base. It's called Eyeshadow Base. We have 2 shades. This is number 1. And this eyeshadow base is fully covering. I like a clean canvas on my eyelids before I'm applying eyeshadow. I don't really feel comfortable with applying eyeshadow on something that is completely transparent because I want the eyeshadows to pop, and when you have like a cleaner and a slightly lighter pigmentation underneath the eyeshadows, it makes the eyeshadows more pop. Okay, so this. Can you help me with closing this? Thank you. I'm spreading this just all across the eyelid. And this is also a great product if you like to define your eyebrows usually with concealer or something. So you don't need to use a concealer. You can use this eyeshadow base. It's amazing. And of course, it's also a great magnet for the eyeshadows as well, and also leaves this, you know, like smooth canvas. You can blend effortlessly the eyeshadows on top of this base.
Alina from Romania is asking, what's your favorite makeup tip that you learned from someone else?
Ooh. Oh, wow. I don't remember. I have to think. Oh, my God. What was that? There were many, actually, but I don't remember anything. Oh, my goodness. Oh. I should have prepped myself with questions like these. Let me think. There were so many tips that I didn't feel like okay with them, but there were a couple that I really appreciated, and I thought, how didn't I think about that? I'll remember. Okay, and if I'm not talking about it, you will ask me again later by the end of the masterclass. Okay, so maybe I will come up something I'll remember while I'm doing the demo. Okay, so now about the Zendo eyeshadow palette. So this is, for me, the ultimate summer eyeshadow palette that is not completely neutral. You can do anything with it because it is colorful enough to create, you know, like fun looks as well, but still leaving it like modern and classic and unique. And at the same time, you have also these neutral shades that are on the warmer side and completely beautiful for the summer. This, when you look at this color combination, it gives you the summer feel anyway, and you can really clearly see that there are two different groups of those: the warmer side and the cooler tone side. And this warmer side is based on corals, a little bit with orange, peach, and red, and you know, like super warm browns, and that beautifully are combined with teals. Teal shades are so universal, even though they're kind of colorful, but they fit everybody because it has every like important pigment inside of it that can fit everyone. It is a mix of blue and green, a little bit of you cannot really see that, but the red pigments are inside and helping them to be kind of neutral and will fit everyone. So people that have warm hair colors, I like to match eyeshadow colors to their hair color. Even much more important to me than the skin tone. And when you have warmer hair colors, then teals work, even though they look kind of cool. It's crazy how much it works. And obviously, and hair that is more cool toned, even silvery hair, gray, and ash blonde, and you know, like how you call these, like cooler browned browns. They work with teals anyway. And these shades that are also kind of mixed. Corals is a mixture of red and yellow, and they go into pink, and slightly, some of them are a little bit more orangey, some are a little bit more into the red direction, like pinkish. So they're also kind of in the middle. They also work on everybody. So it's really a palette for everyone. Okay, I really thought a lot about what I'm going to do and show you today. So I thought focusing on the browns in the beginning, and then we'll see how we will like combine the teals with the look. I love using these a lot, but I feel like going there right now. So let's start.
Steven from Germany is asking if you have a favorite shade in the Zendo palette.
I think yes. I mean, yeah. Yes. It would be probably I mean, I was moving from Sense to Mindful. I think I will stick to Mindful. I don't know why. This is a matte brown, but you will see it now because this is exactly the one that I wanted to pick. So, you know what? I will swatch it for a second. Let's see, this is like. Do you see something? Okay. Okay, you know, I don't have to say anything. I don't know, it's like fire. It's a brown that looks like fire on the eyes. So I'm picking this up with a dense eyeshadow brush. This is my number 10. This is a cream powder formulation. This is one of the formulations that I lately developed and was I debuted it in the Metropolis palette, and I love this formula because it's kind of a wet powder, but it's not really wet, and it applies like powder, but you can blend it like a cream, and it does not move and crease. It's amazing, and you can really customize this because you see how pigmented it is. I just popped it onto my lid with a couple of tapping motions, and then you can continue and move on and blending it out until you get to a transition transparency. It's so versatile, this formula. And I like it also because for professionals, for example, it's really easy to work with and you can be super creative with it. And for beginners and people that are non-professionals, it's easy to blend, so it's kind of mistake proof. You see, so now it's packed like a stain on my eye, and I'm going to move it around and soften it. Okay, now something a little bit about technique. Now I'm looking at myself always in the mirror after I'm applying the eyeshadow. I always make sure that the darker eyeshadow is a little bit lighter, higher than the fold of the eye, because this will lift up my eyes. Because if I leave the color underneath the fold, it will cover up the blend and it will make my eyes appear smaller. So we really have to make sure that the darker shade, we're building it up. I can hear my German accent. Do you hear that? It's like up. Okay, now I took brush number 9. It's like a more softer round blending brush, and I can also blend. Let's see, on this side I'm gonna go and blend this eyeshadow alone, and on the other eye I'm gonna use another lighter eyeshadow to blend it out, to see how this moves beautifully and softly. And I'm using kind of, you know, like little swiping motions, dragging this into the lid. Now, if you have very close set eyes, then I would not recommend dragging darker eyeshadows inwards. You just keep focusing on the outer part of your eye. This is so important. You really have to understand which eye shape you have, and then you have to find out and learn the techniques that are fitting your eye shape. This is so important because we want with makeup to have fun and to feel comfortable, but we also usually want to look better with makeup than even without. Or, you know, like makeup, if it's done the wrong way, you can look not so good, you know, and it's not the point. We want to improve. Okay, so on the other eye, I'm going to use Balance. This is actually also a shade that I'm crazy about in the palette. This is a classic pressed powder matte eyeshadow. So what I'm going to do, I'm placing this right at the border and mixing both shades into each other while I'm applying this. It's going to be slightly more dramatic than the other eye because here I have more pigment because I took another eyeshadow.
Natasha Bianca from Romania is asking, do you have a favorite eyeshadow palette, or is there one that you use the most?
I don't have a favorite one. It's like this typical question that people are asking, and no, I'm sorry, but it's like asking, the answer. All you babies, you love all of them the same. You know what I'm saying? This is what I meant. But I definitely have the ones that I like to use the most. I will tell you, I love on myself, I'm using the Star palette, Biba, the bronze palette, now Zendo as well, the Glam palette, of course. I am using the Lila palettes, and the minis, the mini Nude, the mini Glam, mini Star. It's not ending. Mini Zendo. Probably more. I don't remember. The Camel palette sometimes as well. Oh, and Cranberry and Coral as well. I'm sorry, it's so much. Okay, so I want to make the eyes look the same, so I picked up Balance also for the other eye. Just to make it look the same. And you see me always like building up eyeshadows very highly and very elongating. But I'm always saying you don't have to be afraid to use a lot of eyeshadow, because after you blend everything out, the eye itself will be the one that is speaking, and being the dominant thing here. Because when you blend and not using harsh lines, everything becomes soft and integrates with your feature and your eyes are popping. Okay, so I'm gonna take now the shade Calm. This is also cream powder formula. It's a peachy coral, and I am going to soften now the upper border until it becomes one with my skin tone. And always when I'm doing this step, I must tell you that I'm always using like a very feather light touch. I'm hardly touching my skin, because you really want to work like an airbrush. And oh, I covered the lighting. Okay, and you know that I also like to elongate my eyes, so right at the outer corner, I like to go into a straight line outwards. But you can also keep everything close to your eye and going down in a round motion if you like that. I'm very dramatic with makeup, even on myself, so I don't have a problem with having very dramatic eyes. Okay. I'm gonna use Mindful again for the inner corner because I love halo eyes. So I'm gonna drag this, you see, into the inner corner of my lid. Look, this makes the eyes, I don't know, like a sultry look to the eyes. Okay. You can also go a little bit higher here to blend this in. And I feel like going in with Luster. Now, this is a crazy, highly foiled, like a bright golden bronze shade that I'm popping onto the center of the lid, and look at this craziness. Look, it's like a spot of light. Now with a halo eye, I like to spread it close to my lash line a little bit longer, and then when I go up, it becomes more and more narrow. So it imitates like a shine on your lid, like a halo. So, okay, other side. Look, do you see that? What was the tip makeup tip that I saw that I loved so much. Oh my goodness. I have to remember. It's not the first time somebody asked me. Okay.
Natasha, there's a question from Simo from Italy asking, when did your passion for makeup start?
Okay. Okay. So, I was dancing since, okay. It's so funny to me. I wanted to dance ballet when I was 8 or 9, and my father, he was like pretty old-fashioned. I don't know. He was like, no, it's not. I don't know what he said. Something not really wow. And he said, I'm gonna take your brother to judo, you know. Okay, so I went with him. So I did 3 years judo, and then I didn't like it. I have an orange belt. Did you know? You didn't know that? Okay, I have. I don't remember anything. And then I did 1 year kung fu with a Chinese master. He has his master grade, 4th master grade. Really amazing teacher from Cologne in Germany. And then he left. And then I saw the movie Flashdance. It hooked me. I started dancing, and you know, dancers, they do their own makeup for stage. And that was it. I was in love with makeup. You know, like, I was enjoying doing my makeup before the performances, maybe more than dancing. No, you cannot really say that because dancing is amazing, but it was the same love. I was doing makeup on all the other girls as well, and boys as well. It was so much fun. And then I started doing modeling. I started modeling with 18, and it was during the 90s and the end of the 80s. Yeah, well. And at that time, the models knew how to do their own makeup. Sometimes even better than the makeup artists that came there. I'm telling you the truth. Like today, it's the opposite, but then it was like that. And I was so into the looks of the outfits and everything. It was so much fun. Each time I was traveling as a model, I went to stores of makeup that weren't like, I don't know. I went to, in Paris, to Rue de Boetie or something like this. It's still, until today, the Makeup Forever store. And I went in Singapore to the Shumura store. It was like I was buying like crazy makeup, like crazy insane, like I'm a makeup artist. As a model, I came with 2 bags of makeup, like a professional makeup artist. It was so funny, but that was my love. And and then when I had my first kid, I went into makeup naturally. So since then, that's it, you know, hooked. Can't even imagine living without it. It's my everyday life. So yeah, okay. Okay, so I am now going in with my brush number 4. This is like a really very tiny mini smudger, and I'm dipping this into Mantra. Sorry. This is also cream powder formula. I can also swatch this one. Okay. This is a deeper teal shade. And I'm going to define my lower lash line with this. And you know what? I want to create something a little bit more artistic, slightly more. I love the combination of dramatic beauty with an accent of something artistic. I'm kind of dragging this out from the lower lash line. But to lift the eye, I'm going in with Zeal. Zeal is a pressed powder eyeshadow that is a little bit darker. And I'm connecting this line with my upper lash line, and this will also lift my eye. Do you see that I'm keeping my eyes open most of the times, because this is the way I can really see and actually exactly see how it's going to look like, how it's going to stretch my eye. Because if I'm going to close my eye, I don't know where to go, and I don't know how it's going to look like when I'm opening my eye, and I want this effect of a lift. So I need to keep my eye open for this. I hope that this is a really good tip for you, because sometimes people don't know that. They just think they have to close their eyes and do something, and they don't know where to go. Okay, so this here. A little bit thicker in the outer third, but really close to the lash line. And then dragging it up. But the angles that I'm using to elongate the eyes are always pretty flat. I don't like to exaggerate with the angles that go in an artificial way upwards, because to me it feels a little bit mean. For artistic looks and fashion, I like that sometimes, but for yourself kind of, and you want to express with your eyes, so it needs to have like a natural angle so your actual eye will look elongated and stretched, and it will look also convincing. Sorry.
Christina from Romania is saying, I have one droopy eyelid. Can you help with some tips on how to use makeup to make it less obvious?
Droopy eyelid, hooded eye, like it's covering the eyelid. If this is what you mean, then you should definitely go with darker and medium eyeshadows above your fold. And then all the other steps that you're blending the eyeshadow upwards have to happen above the fold when your eyes open. This is the way it will like really open up your eyes. And then when you're defining your lash line, make sure not to fill in the whole eyelid, because your eyelid will appear more drooped and the eye itself will look small. So you have to make sure that the dark shades between the lashes will have there will stay a space between the lash line and the fold. Then you're good. And then if you meant that you have droopy eyes, which I call drooped eyes, that are going downwards, then if this is what you mean, then you have to kind of lift the outer corner and fill it in with darker eyeshadows only at the outer corner. This will make the eyes look more lifted. Okay, I'm gonna use also the darker eyeshadow in my inner waterline. I like this because it always makes the eyes look like a cat eye, and it's a very effortlessly looking effect. It's not very artificial. It just makes it instantly looking, like not mean, just catty. But I would definitely not do that if I have closed-set eyes, guys. If you have closed-set eyes, they just skip this, because this is bringing the eyes a little bit more together. Okay. Actually, yes, I remember now a good tip from one of my my teachers of my team, that I'm usually using, but it's an old tip because everybody knows this already by now. But I always like to apply concealer with my finger on myself and on clients with a sponge. And he was like using a brush, an eyeshadow brush, and I felt like that's the best. It's the best solution for like a very natural application. It's amazing. So this tip I'm still using up until today. Okay. Okay, so what's left for me for under the eyes here is to connect both corners. I'm gonna do this with Birch. with Vigor. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's gonna be like super bright, like with a red, hot red. But this red is not a pure red. It is more corally. So I'm gonna take my brush number 5, and this is also classic powder. And I'm gonna just simply connect both corners close to the lash line. So now I'm getting a little bit more colorful. Okay. But you can also, of course, use a neutral eyeshadow to connect. You know, but a good tip for this step is always using a shade in the center that is slightly lighter than the two or the one shade that you use in both corners, because you want to keep the stretch of the eye, which means that the corners have to stay darker than the center of your lash line. If you're using a dark or the same darkness of eyeshadow in your center of your lash line, you're gonna make the eyes look round again. So keep the corners darker and then the center just a little bit lighter. Okay, I am going to clean up a little bit underneath my eyes. It would be great to use a I never know how to say that. Micellar water. Wow. It's so simple. I'm so sorry, guys, but sometimes I don't know how to pronounce things in English. And then, because micellar water doesn't have oil inside, and it's great to touch up and clean up under your eyes. And then afterwards to follow with concealer or foundation or whatever you like to use. Okay, so for the under eyes, I am using the Transfix Concealer. Now I'm using 2 shades always, because I need one shade to neutralize my darkness and then the lighter shade to even out the skin tone or to highlight. I don't know if I need to use right now the highlighting. We will see. But number 13 NW is the shade that is a little bit more warm, like with an orangey pigment. That's an amazing color to overcome and cover up dark circles that are based on blue, green, gray, and purplish. And if you have brown dark circles, then I would recommend a red toned concealer. So the other concealers, so my concealers are also, again, like the Foundation X Plus, based on undertones with the letters for the different undertones, like Y yellow, R red, and for neutral, and W for warm. So same thing also for the concealers. So this is number 13. It's pretty dark, but remember that that darkness can be covered up only with dark products. You cannot use a very light concealer on a dark spot of your skin. It will just make it look gray. Okay.
We have a question from Germany.
Yes.
They're asking, what kind of eyeshadow brush would you recommend for blending concealer?
Okay, so the one that I was talking about with the tip for my team, or my makeup artist for my team, it's a number 9. I would do that now, but I can't because this is mindful, the brown eyeshadow on it. So I'm going to look like somebody beat me up. I'm going to use this now with the brown pigment on. But it's a fluffy blending brush, and this works. Not a stiff flat brush, because then it will give you a full coverage. You want to kind of buff it in. Okay, actually I want to use the lighter foundation on top of the concealer. A great fact about this Transfix Concealer is that it sets so well that you can use this before foundation, and then you can cover up all your correcting colors that you use with the concealer and follow with foundation on top, and it won't move. It will not go away. Okay, so I'm using the sponge with the foundation and covering up the concealer, the corrector. And be careful not to cover up your eyeshadow like I did here, but I will correct this now. You can also use, as I said, a brush for more definition or for like more natural coverage for buffing in the product. Or you can also use just, you know, your finger or a defining makeup sponge that will really define your eye makeup if you want to. I mean, it really depends. You know that there are people that you can differentiate in terms of style in the finish of your makeup look. You can go in and blend out everything. Everything looks very, very soft. Or you can just work sharply. It's so different in style, you know? I personally like both. I sometimes feel like I want to lift up in a sharp cat eye. Sometimes I like to go softer. Okay, so now after I did that, I have to give a soft finish on the lower lash line, always after applying concealer. This is like a harsh line that I have to soften. I'm used to do this because of photo shoots. In photos, it's in professional photo shooting or videos, it's very, very important that the finishes under the eyes of the eyeshadows are softened. So I got used to it, and I'm teaching this all the time because it just becomes one part with your face. Okay, so the last thing, oops, is with balance. I'm going to blend this now. Here on the lower border, just to soften a little bit. Makes the eyes more sultry, kind of. Okay. I'm gonna go quickly in with mascara. And usually I do also curl my lashes, but I forgot to bring my curler. So, but this is lifting my lashes anyway, this mascara. Okay. And, oops.
Natasha Josie from France is asking if you recommend powder under eye circles.
I mean, yes, if your foundation or concealer creases under your eyes, then you definitely should powder because it will make it stop moving around. But if you have like very dry skin and wrinkled skin under the eyes, then be careful with that. Just powder where you need, like very close to the lash line or to the eyeshadows, and don't put too much. When you're applying a thick layer of powder, it will just make your skin look very dry. Just use a little bit to set the foundation. The Transfix Concealer, for example, it has powder inside. I mean, you should not use even powder when you're using the Transfix Concealer. It's really mattifying. Okay, now I'm gonna go. Okay. Cute. I'm going in with, oh my goodness, I think I smudged. I looked down. Oh. Just a little. Okay. Glow now. Oh no, puff paint. Oh my goodness. I love these so much. This is This is a hybrid formula. The Puff Paint Liquid Blush Serum is such a cool product because it's a true hybrid. It gives color, and it is a serum for the skin, and it has this skincare infusion technology. It's an ingredient that gives immediate moisture to the skin and leaves the moisture penetrating into the skin even after you take off your makeup. It's so healthy for your skin. You can use it on top of foundation, and you can also use it just if you don't want to wear makeup, you're on a no makeup day, you can just use it as a serum, but giving a little bit of, not all over your face, but as, you know, like a natural tint of flushed cheeks. Look, and it gives this natural, beautiful glow to the skin as well. You can use it also on your lips as well. And I blended it out with my finger, but you can also blend it out with a blush brush or with a sponge. And what else? So this is the shade 10 that I'm using on myself, and it comes also in the Bloom shade, which is a true cherry. It looks dark, but it is super blendable and gives you this cherry tint, like pinched cheek effect. And it comes also in the shade Daria, a beautiful coral shade. This launched just recently. It's so beautiful. It's so soft and lightweight. You cannot feel it on the skin. It's so nourishing and it feels really healthy. And it is healthy for the skin. And it stays long, all day long. Okay. Good. So I'm going to continue with my Face Glow Cream Shimmer. This is one of my top signature techniques to use always a cream highlighter before I'm applying a powder highlighter. So I'm pressing this with a sponge onto my higher cheekbones. It will give you this dewy glow effect. Like if you're a makeup artist, it's the best and most beautiful highlighter for dewy skin on photo shoots. But it's a must also for everyone that wants a beautiful natural glow from within effect. Then the powder highlighters, they never look dry and flaky on the skin. They kind of melt into your skin, becomes like one and smooth and long wearing. So you can see now I'm going to use the Impact Powder in the tan palette. I'm going to apply it with my finger. And look at this now. This craziness. It's just, I don't know if you can see that, but it's insane.
Natasha, we have a question from Germany.
Yes.
Do you recommend powder before applying puff paints?
No, not at all. No, not at all. It's just, you know, it's like it feels like a jelly, cloudy, cushiony formula, and it's actually amazing after moisturizer, after foundation. You don't have to use powder at all. You can use powder before, but definitely don't have to. No way. And it's not moving away the foundation underneath anyway, so you can feel really confident with it. Okay, moving on to my lips, and then we're done. So send me your questions. We're gonna be finished in a couple of minutes. Okay, so I'm using now my I Need a Nude lip crayon in the shade Natasha. This is a super natural, light, muted pink that fits most of the lip colors. And I'm using this many times alone when I just want to achieve like a plump, natural plump effect to my lips. You see, it looks like a part of my lips. I have a little bit of foundation here in my lips, so I'm gonna cover this. Now, I have a, what is this called?
Cold sore.
A cold sore here. I'm sorry guys, but I got it from Italy somehow. And I have a sticker on it. So I hope it will paint. Yeah, I'm managing to paint it. Okay. And I'm going to use the I Need You Nude lipstick shade in Andrea from the holiday collection. This is one of the beiges I love the most. And you can see that. You see how much I'm using it? It has this it has this slightly pinkish but mostly beige shade. Now I will try to cover up also that sore with a lip brush.
One more question from Leon. He's asking, how does puff paint compare to your other blush formulas?
It's a liquid and it's a serum. It's a hybrid. So it is a true makeup product, but with like full skincare ingredients inside. It is completely penetrating the skin and giving deep moisture because of its new and unique innovative technology. I mean, technology is based on molecules. And so when it's touching the skin, it just absorbs into the skin automatically. That's why it also stays underneath kind of the skin, even when you're taking it off. So this is different from the my classic cream blushes, sorry guys, and which are pure makeup products that are also not drying out the skin, but this even has beneficial ingredients, and it's super I would say even that it's maybe slightly less pigmented, like slightly more user-friendly even, because you can just blend it in with your fingers.
Amazing. We have one more question right now.
Okay.
From France. They're asking, are there any celebrities that you'd love to do their makeup?
Okay. So, I used to, but in the last couple of years, I am so busy with the brand, and I still am working as a makeup artist, but for my own brand. And I don't have the time to do this anymore. I did it over 20 years, almost. I can tell you, I did it for 23 years, and now I'm like doing my own stuff. And I loved working with, then when I worked with celebrities still, I loved working with Bara Faeli. I actually worked with her for almost 15 years. And yeah, so this was very close to my heart. And she also already is a mom, and like we moved forward. I have the brand, I have the school, and I'm so busy with creating and all the looks that I am creating for my campaigns, I'm doing them myself, and this is something that I envision for my products as well. Sorry guys. So when I'm creating a product, I already envision the looks, and I know and I know exactly what I want to create for as the color constellation for the products. And so I'm very much inspired by the artistry. It kind of mixes into each other sometimes, and sometimes the artistry comes first before the product itself. So my mind is very busy with this. Yeah.
Another question from Italy. Gabriella is asking how to pick the right blush color.
Okay, listen. So easy. If you know your skin tone, undertone of your skin tone, if it's yellow, then you just take the opposite pigment, which is red toned. Yellow, the complementary is red. So if you have a yellow skin tone, you pick pink. Pink is like red. Pink blushes. If you are like me that maybe you have a red undertone, then pick something that goes towards yellow, which means brown, peach. And if you have a warm tone skin undertone, which is orange, a warm tone undertone of your skin, and orange is a mixture of yellow and red. You are right in the middle. You can actually wear any blush you wish, but then you can match it to your hair color. So if your hair color is warmer, so pick like more the warmer tones of blushes and bright colors, vibrant more. And if you like have a muted and cool toned hair color, pick the muted and cool toned blushes. So hair goes together with the blush in color, and skin tone is the opposite. It sounds so complicated, but it's super easy. And then coral blushes, since they are like a mixture in between, they fit everyone.
Last question
Yes.
from Spain. They're asking, which palette would you recommend as a starter palette?
Definitely Biba. I think that the Biba palette has these basic essential shades for everyday, from super simple, everyday, natural to glam and to dramatic. Each row has its own color story, and from light to deep shades, even a black shade. So I think it's the most safe. Also the glam palette, I would say, if you want to have something more cooler toned, but the Biba palette has more mattes, and it is very, very user friendly. So, okay guys, so thank you so much. We came to the end. I hope you really enjoyed this class and you learned something from me. And oh my gosh, I'm so happy I was here with you. And I hope to see you next time, and hopefully in person. I'm planning to come to Europe again and giving a couple of masterclasses in person, like I did in Paris. So we're planning to do it in the next couple of months, starting with it. So see you there, maybe. Love you so much, and I hope you will love my new products. And thank you so much again, Sephora. I love you guys.